Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I'm your host, Wilk of WilksWorld.com, and this is episode 90. It is the first week of 2022, and this week we're going to talk about New Year, New You, New Year's resolutions, and how many of them just don't pan out the way that a lot of people think. But the reality is every day, every single day, I don't care if it's the 1st of January, the 1st of June, or the last day of the year, every single day is an opportunity to make your life a better life. Now, here at the D-Rate the Hate podcast, we're all about bettering the world one attitude at a time. And that begins with us as individuals. It's not up to anybody else to make your life a better life, but it's up to you to make you a better life. And by making your life a better life, it makes the world a better place. Bettering the world one attitude at a time, like I said. So what have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? So we did not create the hate, but with your help, we can derate the hate. And again, it's all about you as an individual. So come along with me, won't you? One very simple way you can do your part to better the world is to share the D-Rate the Hate podcast with your friends. We have now had 90 consecutive weeks of regularly scheduled episodes with a number of bonus episodes, tons of very important content and fantastic guests. You know, if there's something that really hit you, do us all a favor and share that with your friends. Share it far and wide. So if you've got something to share with me, obviously you can always hit me up on the email, wilk@wilksworld.com. So let's get right into this week's topic. I talked about New Year, New You, and how sometimes that's nonsense. Because New Year's resolutions just generally don't pan out. Some of them do, but just generally do not pan out the way that a lot of people expect or hope that they would. And there's a lot of reasons for that, reasons we don't need to get into. But just like I wrap up every show, I talk about it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. Every single day that we have on this earth is an opportunity to make your life great, an opportunity to do things that maybe you thought you'd never have the guts to do, stepping outside your comfort zone and doing things that maybe you didn't think were possible. But every day is an opportunity. Every day is an opportunity to do something great. Now this week in particular for me, I quit doing the New Year's resolution thing a long time ago. But I want to talk a little bit about something that happened in my life that drastically changed the course of my life. And it happened 12 years ago this week. So 12 years ago yesterday, on January 3rd, 2010, it was Sunday, January 3rd, 2010, the final day of the 2009 Minnesota pheasant season. And I rode around all day in my Avalanche with my dad, watching ditches, looking for pheasants like we'd done 1,000 times before. Just listening to music, telling stories, talking about the past, talking about the future. And little did I know that that would be the last day that I would see my dad alive. You know, I spent that whole day with him, you know, in the truck. I don't think we got any pheasants that day. Honestly, I don't remember at this point. But I do know that we talked a lot. And the day didn't end there. We went back to my folks' place where I happened to be staying at the time, because I had just come back a couple months previous to that from Florida. I lived in Florida for several years and missed a lot of time with my family in all those years that I was gone. But so we went back home, got cleaned up, and had dinner. We were sitting in the garage talking about things. My dad and I would sit in the garage, drink beer, smoke cigarettes, and just talk. Now, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but I would give the world to have more time that night sitting there talking to my dad. But we never know. We never know when that final day is coming. And it's so important that we take the opportunity every single day to say the things that we want to say, learn the things that we want to learn, love the people that we want to love, and do it the right way, because we just don't know. Again, when we just don't know. We don't know how many days that we have left. So when I talk about my life drastically changing after that week, because my dad didn't pass away that day. I went to work the next morning. I was driving a truck over the road at the time. I went to work the next morning, and I was gone till the following Friday when I got that call that my father had passed away in his sleep, somewhere between Thursday night and Friday morning. And I had talked to him on the phone a couple times that week, like I did almost every day. And there's so many things I would have loved to have done and shown him over my life that I just never got an opportunity to do. In that last conversation that we had in person in the garage, we talked about things like, what would become of my mom if he passed. It was almost like he knew that he was on his way out. What would become of my mom who's disabled, and we talked about my sisters and what was going on with them, and I specifically remember in that conversation sitting there in the garage, and I remember saying to him, don't worry about this, Dad. Don't even talk like this. You're going to be around a long time. You'll get to see my wife and my kids someday, which at that point I was in no condition, and not even the type of person who could imagine getting married or having children. And in fact, it wasn't even until almost 9 years later that my now wife and I welcomed our daughter into this world. So yeah, I missed that mark by by quite a bit. But again, the point of this is you just never know. You never know when that time is coming. Nobody knows the day or the hour, whatever the old saying is. But it's so important that we take advantage of all the time that we have here on Earth. In my 20s and 30s, I almost thought I was immortal. I didn't feel that there was any kind of clock ticking. I didn't believe that every day could be the last. And even when I did feel that way, it didn't really matter, because it just didn't matter to me. There wasn't a part of me that really thought that was even something to think about. But I certainly think about it now. I mean, I definitely think about it now, because now I have a beautiful wife, beautiful family, a son and daughter that I absolutely love. And I'm less than 10 years, less than a decade away from the age that my father was when he passed away. So when I look around me right now, when I look around at the world in which we live, and I see the divisiveness and I see the hate and people who allow politics or differing opinions or things to split up their family. Things like media-driven fear. Media-driven fear, politicians and political bureaucrats and media outlets et al. Telling us that we should avoid, that the vaccinated should avoid the unvaccinated, and that we shouldn't spend time with relatives this holiday season because we need to fear the Omicron or the Delta or the whatever the variant is this month or this week. So many people in the past couple years have foregone the opportunity to spend time with family because of fear that, they were going to get sick, or they were going to get somebody else sick, or they, based on inconsistent and erratic storylines by politicians and media types, have allowed so much time to pass and so many days to go on without spending time with those that they love. So many businesses that were destroyed because of the government's reaction and overreaction and piss poor reaction to this illness. Groups out there that have a vested interest in keeping us divided, putting us in boxes, telling some people they're victims and other people that they're victimizers and oppressors, doing everything they can to keep us at each other's throats, or at worst, just keeping us avoiding each other altogether. But friends, I just have to say, we don't know how many days we have left. Do we want to spend those days living in fear, avoiding those that we love? Do we want to spend those days being a victim or allowing others to make us feel like a victim and then pretty soon we fall into that perpetual victim mentality, and alls we seek out is affirmations day after day that we're a victim because of our skin color, because of where we're from, because I live in poverty and you're rich, or you have a nicer car than I do, or you have a better job than I do, or some politician convinces you that your entry level position or low skill labor is worth far more than the value it actually provides to the employer. So now you just quit that job and live off a combination of government handouts and animosity. One of the most important lessons that I ever learned from my father was that there is honor in work, and having a strong work ethic is very important in who we are. So when I look around the world right now and I try to figure out how do we leave a better world for our children, because I look at the world that my dad saw before he left this earth, and the world that we have today is nearly unrecognizable from what we had 12 years ago. And I would strongly contend that it's not better at all, not even close. So how do we change it? Again, it comes back to us as individuals. It comes back to honor, integrity, who we are as a person, and how we can make our lives better to leave a better world for our children. Are you one who suffers from the perpetual victim mentality that I've talked about so many times on this podcast? Because only you can change that. Are you one that suffers from a media-driven fear that this boogeyman of a illness is going to kill you and your whole family, so you avoid those that you love? Or you, for all intents and purposes, avoid living life just to stay alive? Do you greet people with a smile and a handshake? Or do you keep your head down and try to avoid strangers because they might have some scary illness? Friends, there are an infinite number of ways to make your life each day a better life, which in turn makes the world a better place. But only you can do it. Only you can make your life a better life. So to bring this thing full circle, talking about New Year's resolutions, new year, new you, I say nonsense. Every day, every single day is an opportunity to make a resolution, to make your life a better life. Most New Year's resolutions involve some type of diet plan or losing weight. But the vast majority of New Year's resolutions don't make it past the first week in February. I say, why waste your time with a New Year's resolution? How about just a new day resolution? How about each day you just wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to greet a stranger today with a smile. I'm going to hold the door for somebody every time I get an opportunity. When I stop and get my coffee this morning, I'm going to do a pay it forward and pay for the coffee for the people in the car behind me. I'm going to engage in a conversation today with somebody, not to try and make a point, but simply to listen to and gain a complete understanding of their point of view on a topic that I may disagree with. I am going to be very intentional today with my please and my thank yous so everybody knows how grateful I am for all the things that they do, just doing the things that they do. Like I said, friends, there are an infinite number of ways that you can make your day a better day, make your life a better life, and it will in turn make the world a better place. It really does take a solid effort on all of our parts to derate the hate and make the world a better place. Friends, I got a couple quick things before I wrap it up, and that's one, if you have not done so, please drop me an email. If there is an episode that you've listened to that really struck a chord with you and helped to better your life in some way, please drop me an email, wilk@wilksworld.com. Let me know what that episode is. If you have a friend or a guest that you think would make a good guest on the podcast, email me with their information. I'd love to hear about it. And again, please make sure you're sharing these episodes with your friends. So important for what we're trying to do. Now, this episode obviously very much involved my father, and is dedicated to my father, who I lost 12 years ago this week. And I miss very, very much every day of my life. And played an integral part in the person that I am today, both before he left this world and very much after. With that, I wrote a blog post on my Wilksopinion blog several years ago now called "In Memory of My Departed Father on His Would-Be 57th Birthday." I am going to post that link in the show notes to this episode, and I would love it if you would read it and let me know what you think. Wilk@wilksworld.com. It's a very, very important part of who I am and what made me who I am, and it kind of explains a lot of my backstory. So check out that link, "In Memory of My Departed Father on His 57th Birthday," that I wrote several years ago. The link to that episode will be in the show notes, and I would appreciate your feedback on that as well. With that, I'm going to wrap up this week's episode saying get out there, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember, it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. Friends, share this episode far and wide. Drop us some feedback and a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your audio. And with that, I'm back on out of here. We'll catch you next week. Take care.